Indie games are usually really interesting to come across. A lot of these games take risks, which results in some of the best and worst games that you could possibly ever play. Surgeon Simulator 2013 was a game developed by Bolsa Studios. Now, one thing to note about this game is it is a spoof on simulation games. Whether this is a good thing or bad thing, we will check it out in this review. Now, one thing you're going to realize off rip is that the control scheme is very different from normal games. You control one hand of the person that you're playing as, and you move the hand using your mouse. You use the keyboard to control the fingers, the left mouse button to go down, and the right mouse button in order to tilt your hands in both angles. This takes a lot of time to get used to due to the steep learning curve of the controls. In addition, your hand will begin to cramp up. Just playing a mission for about 10 or 15 minutes, my hand was already burning because of the awkward layout of these controls. Now on to the game. In this game, you play as a guy named Nigel who's a doctor, and what you have to do is operate on various patients under various different circumstances. Each operation involves a different task, but all basically have the same similar objective. You have to bust open the dude, take out the organ, and replace it with something else. That's the base objective, so if you're grossed out by that, then I do not recommend this game for you off rip. One thing about this game is in each operation that you're doing, you'll have varied amount of tools to use it. Like here, I'm using the hammer in order to break open his rib cage so I can give him a heart transplant. In all honesty, this does generate a few laughs. However, there are a bunch of problems that I'm going to address. My main gripe is with the physics system. Physics in this game make no sense. It leads to a bunch of errors. Number one is clipping. There's a lot of clipping in this game because of the engine. Some of it, like you see here, is pretty harmless, but other times it can really cost you the operation and you can lose because of it. Some of it is just laughable, as I'm here trying to pick up a lung and it just like spazzes out. My hand just goes uncontrollably just everywhere. And even though it is funny just to see it, it still doesn't mask the fact that that's pretty bad. Number two, handling of items. Some items you just cannot let go. They'll stay on your hand, and no matter how much you wiggle and shake, they just will not fall out of place. It will just stay there. And it's really aggravating sometimes, especially when the time is counting down and your patient is losing a lot of blood. 3. The loss of items. Just as here, I accidentally hit my hammer against the table and now it falls into this crack. And this is a huge problem in the game. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it does come up often. And if I just accidentally knocked over the heart that I was supposed to put in, and I knocked it over, it's lost forever and I need to restart the level. Overall, I have nothing more to say about this game. Yes, this game is trying to be funny, but to be honest, the humor does not mask the fact that it's just not that good of a game. And that's why I give this game a 4 out of 10, slightly below average. Even though I did have a few laughs, the game is still not that good of a game. It has wonky physics, there's a lot of clipping, and just a bunch more problems in the game that I've talked about. Some might enjoy it more than others, but overall I don't really recommend it unless you're into these obscure and really funny games. This is Powerhouse, signing off.